Thank you and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the licensing panel virtual meeting this afternoon. We will start by doing a round of introductions. My name's Amanda Pinnock, Councillor Amanda Pinnock. I'm the chair of the panel, and if I can go over to Councillor Lyons.
Yes, I'm Councillor Terry Lyons, Home Valley North Councillor.
Thank you. Councillor Davies.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Councillor Paola Davis, ward member for Almondbury.
Thank you. And the council's legal representative.
Good afternoon. My name's David Stickley. I'm a solicitor. I work for the council. I'm here to provide any legal advice the panel may require.
Licence officer.
I'm Jordan Barrett. I'm a licensing officer.
Thank you. The licence holder. So that's Miss Wrigley Foster. Are you with us? I think you're on mute there, Suzanne.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I off?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
So,
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Suzanne Wigley.
Thank you. And Mr. Denny, who's her representative.
Yes, good afternoon, Charles Denny. Good afternoon to all of you.
Thank you. We have one objector with us, Mr. Farouk. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, sorry, it's Aksa Farouk, and I also have Asia Bibi with me. Hello.
Thank you. Okay, thank you everyone for that. So we will go through the formal agenda, but just to confirm to everybody, this meeting is being webcast and recorded. So please keep the noise down in the background if you've got things going on. So we'll go through the agenda now. Minutes of the previous meeting, which was held on the 27th of October. I think I was the only one here who attended that meeting, so I'm happy to confirm that that's a true record of what happened. Anything to declare of interest, Councillor Lyons?
None, Chair.
Councillor Davies?
None from me, Chair.
Thank you. Admissions of the public. This has been webcast. Any deputations or petitions?
None received, Chair.
Okay. Public question time. Any?
No questions received, Chair.
Lovely. Okay. So we'll launch straight into the first application, which is an application for granted premises licence in respect of Jennings, situated at 4 Park Road, Crossland Moor, Huddersfield. We'll begin by asking the licensing officer, please, to outline the review, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. On the 2nd of November 2021, the licensing department received an application for the grant of premise licence for Jensen's, which is at 4 Park Road, Crossland Moor, Huddersfield, HD4 5DB. The application was made by a company called Jensen's Food Limited. A copy of this application may be seen at Appendix A. The licensable activities applied for by the applicant are as follows. So sale of alcohol, both on and off premise, Monday to Sunday, 10 AM to 10 PM. In total, seven representations from members of the public have been received, and a petition of local residents with 14 names and addresses of whom have objected have been received relating to this application. One of the representations did not give enough detail on their objection, so was asked to explain their reasons. This relates to objection number 3. The representations that were received considered that the following licensing objectives would not be met should this license be granted. These are public nuisance and prevention of crime and disorder. A copy of the representations may be seen at Appendix B. Also, yesterday I sent Environmental Health have also sent some conditions, which I believe Jenny circulated yesterday. These conditions were to have clear and conspicuous notice shall be displayed at all entrances, exits, and in outdoor areas, for example, beer gardens, requesting patrons to respect the needs of local residents and to leave the premise and area quietly. All staff should be trained in ensuring the quiet dispersal of patrons. This was signed by Suzanne on the 24th of November 2021, so she has agreed to these conditions. And also a plan also went out yesterday as well. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll see if anybody has any questions. I only have one question really. So we've heard from environmental health as a responsible authority. Have we heard from the police or anyone else?
No, there were no comments from any responsible authority.
Lovely. So I'll move to my colleagues now. Councillor Lyons, do you have any questions for the licence officer?
None, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Davies?
None at the moment, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Denny, do you have any questions for the licence officer?
No, I don't.
Thank you. And Ms. Farouk, any questions at this stage?
I just have a question regarding the licensing. Does it take into account potential parking, adequate parking nearby?
Do you want me to answer that one?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the planning is not a licensable activity, so we wouldn't be responsible for the parking. That would be down to planning.
Right. And would that be in account with the Jensens? Would they be associated with that?
What do you mean? Sorry.
When you say that would be account to planning, who's planning? Where?
The Kirklees planning department. So when an application is granted, well, when a premise applies for planning permission, they'll take all that into account of what kind of premise they're wanting to run.
Right.
It'd be more of a planning question more than a licensing question.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you for that, officer. Okay, so we'll move now to the licence holder to make representations in respect of the application. Mr. Denny, you're acting on the applicant's behalf. Would you like to outline your application, please?
For sure. Can you all see me, by the way, because I can't see myself on the screen?
No, we can't see you.
Let's see.
You're not on camera, Mr. Denny. It's just audio.
Okay, so I'll just carry with audio, yeah?
Yes, carry on. We can hear you clearly.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so this is an application for a premises license for Jensen's Foods Limited, trading as a retro cafe and bistro at 4 Park Road, Crosland Moor, Huddersfield. The premises currently trades unlicensed as a daytime cafe with a delivery service primarily for older people within the local community. It's been open since October 2019 when the pandemic's permitted, having formerly been a bakery. Work has begun on renovating the first floor of the premises into an eatery for the evenings, with a wide choice of traditional fare, curries, burgers and burritos, to name just a few. There will be approximately 40 covers available in the upstairs area when it opens. Apart from takeaways and deliveries from online orders, alcohol for sale for consumption on the premises will be limited to customers seated at tables on the first floor and accompanied by a food order. No alcohol will be permitted to be consumed on the ground floor of the premises, nor the decking area, which will also be limited to 8 customers at any one time in the interest of prevention of public nuisance, in particular close by neighbours. Last orders for food will be at 8:30 in the evening, allowing plenty of time for customers to complete their meals and any drinks by 10:30 p.m. at the latest. Upon grant of a licence, renovations will continue, including the installation of a 9-camera CCTV system, 3 of which will be external, which, when opening, is expected around Easter next year. The premises will be providing a full-time contract to its current driver for deliveries, who will also be receiving APLH training to enable him to become a personal licence holder. That person will be an individual who will be fully conversant, therefore, with licensing law and the premises age verification policy, Challenge 25, should any deliveries, including alcohol, take place. There have been no representations with regard to this application from the police or responsible authorities, and we feel the concerns of local residents have been addressed from the outset, but have been backed up by a letter sent to them all individually a couple of weeks ago. We feel that letter and the application shows a commitment to promoting the 4 licensing objectives at all times, summarised by CCTV operation, both internal and external, strictly enforced age verification policy, Challenge 25, a food-led operation comprising a maximum 40 covers in the evening, no super strength beers on sale, or lagers or ciders, at a maximum of 6.5%. No vertical drinking. In other words, no one will be permitted to stand up while consuming alcohol. And a professional, local, family-based team of employees providing an exceptional range of products and service to benefit the local community. We genuinely feel that the grant of this licence will enhance the local community in all aspects. That concludes my application.
Thank you. So I have a few questions, and I'm sure my colleagues will also have some questions for you. Okay, so I've made myself some notes of what you've said. So the cafe has been open since 2019.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And has been operating. Sorry.
October 2019.
Okay, and has been operating as a cafe, so selling food, selling hot drinks, cold drinks since then?
That's right.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about the clientele then, or how busy the cafe has been? You know, is the clientele likely to be passing trade?
Are you...
Lost sound.
Lost
sound. Yes, I can't hear anything.
Sorry, I had myself on mute. Sorry,
you're back
that.
again.
Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, so I've done myself some notes on what you've said. So I just wanted to know a little bit more about what's been happening with the business since it opened in October 2019.
Sure.
So where are the clientele coming from? Is it people from the area? Is it passing trade? Can you just tell me a little bit more, please?
I think the trade has predominantly been very local in nature. Many people walking to the premises, people coming across the road from the local business, which is run by a guy called, I can't remember, David Brown. And obviously it's not been open in the evenings currently. It's only been open daytime. There's a small amount of traffic created by the premises, but we don't expect this to be significantly increased by being trading in the evenings.
I disagree with that, sorry.
Ms. Farouk, you'll have your opportunity to put questions to the representative. Right, so after I've asked my colleagues if they've got any questions, then I'll come to you. Okay, all right then. Yeah, so just bear with me a second. So you've mentioned, you know, there's been a number of objectors and we've seen the information contained in the agenda. And you've responded to that by sending a letter out to residents, you've said, or the objectors, sorry. But I haven't seen that letter, and I'm assuming my colleagues haven't seen that letter either. Could you just confirm how you sort of addressed their concerns? So just to quickly go through some of the concerns that the objectors have raised. So increased antisocial behaviour, parking and highways issues. I know those sort of, you know, overlap with planning, but it's still something as licensing that we do need to consider. Increased litter, increased crime and disorder, also in terms of community cohesion and other businesses in the area, such as there's a nursery nearby, there's a mosque nearby, and also there's shops nearby also selling alcohol. So I'm just interested in how you would respond to those objections that have been raised, please.
Sure. Well, we're talking about a 40 cover eatery upstairs. It is not going to be full all of the time, and the 40 would be dependent on, for instance, a table of six chairs, having all of those 6 chairs occupied. So in a number of occasions, the 40 will not even be reached. We're probably going to be talking about 20 to 30 typically. We think a lot of people will arrive on foot, some by car. We'll obviously stress that people who arrive by car should park safely and legally in the interests of local residents. I do not think, with this being a food-led business, that there is a concern of such in terms of crime and disorder being increased in the area. People will be coming to dine primarily, have some food, have a chat. We're going to encourage one of the rooms upstairs to be used for various types of class. And I think it's a genuinely positive contribution to the community, which is in a at times difficult area.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn to my colleagues now. Councillor Lyons, any questions?
No, I'm waiting to hear what the objector has to say.
Councillor Davies?
I have no questions at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. I should have actually gone to the licensing officer. I don't know if you have any questions of the applicant at this stage.
No, no questions, Chair.
Lovely. So we'll move to the objector then. So Ms. Farouk, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have some issues that I want to highlight. So at the moment, I understand that the cafe has been operating on afternoon basis only. I think closes around 1 o'clock. The customers that are arriving by car are potentially blocking the road and the pavement. The main road is quite narrow, and when they park, they tend to take most of the pavement and as well as the main road. So this causes a nuisance to the public, who I've seen children and parents having to walk around the car into the main road, which is quite dangerous. The side roads themselves are always occupied. So we have the playgroup, we have David Brown employees that are always parking there. I myself struggle to get into my driveway on a daily basis. Having up to 40 people in the cafe upstairs, I just think is going to be a lot of issue with traffic. We have bus drivers, HGV, lorries coming up here all the time, vans, customers trying to get into David Brown, which are huge trucks, sometimes really wide load ones.
Ms. Farouk, can I just jump in?
Yeah.
Do you have a direct question for the applicant's representative? Is there anything specific you want to ask? Because you will get your opportunity to make your submissions a little bit later on.
So where's adequate parking for the business? Where are they planning to park, let customers park?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Can I put that to the applicant's representative, please?
Yeah, can I suggest, as the applicant herself is available for comment, that question is addressed to Suzanne, who is present, because she is local, she's there all the time, and will understand exactly where yellow lines exist and such like, and where people will put a park in a responsible manner.
Am I allowed to talk?
Yes, we'd like to hear from you. Yes, please.
I didn't know whether I were the person to talk. So at present, round the corner of the cafe, there's double yellow lines and permit parking down May Street. The church has allocated parking over the road. Browns have just acquired an additional car park further on, so they should be parking in the additional car park, which I have been discussing with the security guard at Browns, that they still are parking on the main roads around the area. So they are sorting the parking for Miss Farouk's driveway. They're under obviously giving disciplinaries for anybody that's parking near someone's driveway and blocking it, because I've had a couple of customers coming in and saying that we've got our driveway blocked, which isn't to do with me, but I have chose to resolve that for them. Outside my shop, there is no double yellow lines parking, and on my land, which is in conjunction with the property, you can park up to 3 cars outside of the shop, which one of our cars is a delivery car, so it's out and about most of the time. I have discussed with the driver to make allowances and make sure that my driver, when he's delivering, that he parks on the outside of the kitchen area on the road and not on the pavement. I have discussed with a number of my customers that if they are passing trade, can they make sure that they park safely on the road and not on the pavement because of issues with prams and things. If I was actually to fence off the area around my property, the pavement would be very narrow. So all along Park Road, there are no yellow lines at all, no double yellow lines. People can park there themselves without any issue. I have the attaching property to me, which is Stuart and Margaret, and they have said that if I need to park my car in their driveway, they're happy for me to use that. So I can take my vehicles away from the area of the shop to allow for 3 cars to park.
Thank you. You mentioned something about David Brown's having a car park that's available. How clear is it that people can actually park in that car park?
Right, so they have
clarity about that.
David Brown's have 2 big car parks down by the mosque, which is gated for their staff, but they've acquired one further on Park Lane, Park Road, towards the co-op, which is land away from the business, but within walking distance of 10 minutes. So they have now acquired that land for their employees to park on. There is building works going at the moment, and obviously the builders that are going to the premises do go in the private parking area within the structure of Brown's. It is an MOD site, so on the other hand, they have to make sure that vehicles go in. They do have some big trucks, and on occasions I've had to report to the police about parking on double yellow lines. So they do have wardens walking around the area on a regular basis. So if someone is parking inappropriately, they are issued a ticket.
Lovely. Sorry, Miss Farouk, I jumped in there and asked a question. Have you got any more questions?
No. My main concern is the parking as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right then. So we'll move on then. So Miss Farouk, the floor's yours. So if you can explain why you have objections to this application going through. And I also understand that there was a petition and 14 people signed that petition. So you may want to comment on that too.
Yeah, so on receiving the, I just received the news that this property was being converted into a cafe and alcohol. I did go around the neighbourhood and asked local neighbours if they were happy with this happening, and most of them said no, because of the increased traffic, noise pollution, as well as the litter that is happening. I am constantly picking up food packaging from my garden, which is directly opposite to the cafe, which includes coffee cups, sandwich bags, and all sorts. And it's not pleasant. With it becoming increased throughout the day now, I think that's going to be increased. Traffic is always increasing, and I don't know if this has been highlighted, but this is a high accident area as well, because there's it's a misleading bend. People take it at high speeds, and there has been multiple accidents throughout this year. I would say 5 to 6. With people parking on the main road, I think that's going to be more dangerous. Yeah, and I just don't think it's necessary. I do know the co-op does have Slimming World and book clubs, but they have adequate parking, and I go there sometimes as well, which is okay for me. They have Weight Watchers down there. So I don't think it's necessary for this area particularly. I understand that David Brown employees are always parking on Park Road, but we can't stop them from parking if they're doing it okay, but it's just adding more traffic to it. So those are my concerns, and also my neighbours.
Okay. There was a petition as well, wasn't there, where a number of people signed that petition? Do you want to comment on that?
Yes, so petition includes a variety of people throughout the neighbourhood, so that includes Asian and white people who have all said that it's not necessary. We've got comments such as danger for the kids, it's too much traffic, and it's just not needed. Yeah, so I mean, that alone, I think it basically adds to the discussion that the neighbourhood doesn't want it.
Okay, thank you. I think it's important at this stage that I also mentioned, and I know I've said it before, that there's also been several other objectors who have sent emails into the council explaining that they object to the application and giving various reasons. Just allow me a moment. The reasons that they have put forward have been increased antisocial behaviour, parking and highways issues, increased litter, increasing crime and disorder. There's a nearby nursery and mosque. That was quite a common theme, and the other shops selling alcohol in the nearby vicinity, so it's not needed. So if I can move to the applicant's representative then, do you have any questions for this objector?
I would just like to comment that this will be the first restaurant business within walking distance of the junction that's been referred to in the conversations. Others are a drive away. So I think, you know, with several hundred local residents, of which I think 21 have objected or signed a petition, we probably have a majority of people in favour for what will be a very pleasant and well-run, small, intimate restaurant and a place to get together and chat while having something to eat and drink without any thoughts of introducing or increasing crime and disorder in the area. With the restaurant upstairs only being open in the evening, and the cafe on the ground floor only being open during the day, it's not going to lead to an additional amount of traffic, I don't think, because it simply means the premises will be trading for longer hours, but not as long as any pubs that I'm aware of in the country.
Yeah, I think it'd be useful as well if you responded to some of the points that the objector raised. So, for example, she talked about increased litter and having to actually go and collect litter as a consequence of the business. Are you able to respond to that?
Sure. I think clearly as a local business within the area, Suzanne will readily admit that she needs to work with her customers, with the local residents to improve the community rather than cause compromises to it. A restaurant's not going to generate litter because people are going to be eating on the premises, but the cafe, with people taking food out, is going to be inclined for one or two irresponsible people to drop things onto the ground. But I'm sure Suzanne will commit to making sure that regular checks are made on that to minimise and hopefully completely eradicate such an issue. I'm not local, so it's difficult for me to comment very constructively on the issues of traffic and parking. I'm sure people wish to park legally when they're parking for a couple of hours to have something in the evening. And of course, drivers are not going to be drinking alcohol. So I don't think there's going to be issues of crime and disorder coming from people having a meal in the evening at this particular premises.
Thank you. So is there anyone here from Environmental Health who'd like to comment on the conditions, additional conditions that have been set? No? Okay. All right. So moving on. I'd ask for each of the parties then to sum up. So the licensing officer, after hearing what's been said today, is anything additional you'd like to add? Or to sum up what you've already said?
Just to sum up, there's no additional comments I'd like to make. This license has been, the premises applied for a license for sale of alcohol between Monday to Sunday 10 till 10 p.m. The representations came in based on public nuisance and prevention of crime and disorder. Environmental Health have tackled some of the issues, and the applicant has agreed to putting notices up at the entrance and exits and in outdoor areas, requesting people to be respectful and to leave the premise quietly. And also they've agreed to train staff as well in how to quietly disperse people. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Denning, would you like to sum up?
Yes, of course. This, of course, is a relatively small operation for which an application for a premises licence is being heard. A maximum of 40 people there in the evenings, some of whom may have driven. I think it is very much a local community. It's a family business, at least in part, and I think I can say on behalf of Suzanne that there will be an absolute commitment to promote the 4 licensing objectives, but more than that, create a real community hub that everybody can enjoy rather than looking at the potential negatives of this application. And of course, we're all aware there is a review process available should things not go well, but I'm sure that's not going to be the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Farouk, would you like to sum up?
Yeah, I'm still objective to it, and I would like it to remain as a cafe and not to be extended into the late hours. Yeah, that's my basic summary. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you everyone for taking part today. So the panel will now need an opportunity to consider what's been said. We'll need time to make our decision. And once a decision has been reached, I would ask that all the participants who are here today watch the webcast for the decision. And in addition to that, a letter will be sent out to the applicant with details of our decision. So thank you everyone for attending. We will now go into another room to consider what's been said today.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. The panel were asked to consider an application for grant of premises licence in respect of Jensen's, situated at 4 Park Road, Crossland Moor, Huddersfield. We've had an opportunity to consider what's been said today, and we have arrived at a decision. First of all, I'd like to reiterate really that there's been a number of concerns raised about litter that we've heard today and in the application. And for that reason, we would encourage the applicant to have bins available outside the premises and at relevant locations to try and address those issues. We also considered representations made in respect of traffic and highways issues. And although this is a licensing hearing where we consider licensing objectives, unfortunately, we can't allow that to influence our decision because it is a planning matter. It's a planning decision. So it was important just to really outline that. But the panel have decided to agree the application as set out by the application, obviously taking account of the agreement to also follow the conditions recommended by Environmental Health. And to the objectors and any other residents who have concerns, I'd just like to point out that if there are any breaches of the licence or any concerns that you may have going forward, you can of course come back to the council for appropriate enforcement measures to be taken. Okay, and that decision will be sent out to the applicant in writing. Thank you everyone for attending. Okay, so we're moving on to the second matter.
Can we, Councillor Pinnett, can we just close the stream? The second matter starts at 3, so you've got like a 10-minute to, gather your thoughts. Is the stream closed down, Philip? To you, Chair.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this licensing panel virtual meeting this afternoon. We'll start with a round of introductions. My name's Councillor Amanda Pinnock. I'm chair of the hearing. I'll move to my colleague, Councillor Lyons.
Yes, good afternoon. It's Councillor Terry Lyons, Home Valley North Councillor. Thank you.
And Councillor Davis.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Councillor Paola Davis, ward member for Almondbury.
Thank you. Okay, any interest to declare, Councillor Lyons?
None.
Councillor Davis?
None.
Lovely. Okay, so moving to the agenda item, we'll be considering item 7 and item 8 this afternoon, and it's in respect of application for grant of personal license. And I have to explain that this meeting will not be held in public. So under section 100A4 of the Local Government Act 1972, the public will be excluded from the meeting during consideration of items of business on the grounds that they involve the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act. Therefore, in accordance with the Act, these agenda items will be considered in a private session. And just to confirm that once the panel have listened to the evidence and considered and made a decision, that decision will be delivered on the webcast and the decision will also be sent in writing to the applicant. Will be sent to the applicant. So we will stop there so that we can have this session in private. Thank you. Thank you. So good afternoon again, everyone. This afternoon, the panel were asked to consider an application for personal licence in respect of agenda items 7 and 8. The panel have considered what we've heard today, and the application is refused. A written letter will be sent to the applicant, providing more detail about the refusal. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Have a lovely Christmas and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.